All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Kingdom of the Kael Isles. Brought to you today not by Roll20, because Roll20 is being a dick. So, I'm not happy with Roll20 right now, but whatever. If that's the way it wants to roll, then that's the way it wants to roll. And it's. So that's why we're a little bit later today than we normally are. But hopefully we can all kind of get past that and still have fun and watch us do silly things on the interwebs, because that's always fun, right? Or at least I pretend it's fun. So this is my custom D&D campaign. The people in front of you are the ones that weren't quite smart enough to say no when I asked them, hey, do you want to play my custom game? And to kind of bring you guys up to speed, the most recent storyline we've been dealing with is they kind of landed on an island that was populated by things that used to be dead but were no longer. While they were there, they met up with a rather unique individual who goes by the name of Song. She's a tiefling bard, and while they were kind of exploring this island, they were able to actually free an entire race of people from control of this bad guy named Corin. As they were traveling through everything and dealing with things like Avok's brother being under his control, they eventually made it to a final confrontation with Corin after after Avok was killed by his brother and was resurrected by the rest of the party. They had a final confrontation with Corin and Corin's pet giant spider thing, which they demolished. After taking out Corin with some rather clever use of spells and trickery from Song, they were just about ready to kind of relish in their victory when the floor fell out from underneath them. As they were falling, Song, the quick-thinking person that she is, immediately cast Featherfall so they didn't splat when they eventually hit the ground. And they found themselves in a very large chamber. On one side is this very large kind of archway, doorway type thing into a room that is filled with hundreds, if not thousands, of these undead creatures that Corin had been basically building to create his own little army. When they turned around, they realized on the other side of this cavern was the largest golden dragon any of them had ever seen. And that's where we're going to pick up right now. So, you guys have just seen this massive beast start to kind of move around, and you see it raise its head slightly off the ground, and this plume of fire shoots out over your guys' heads. And you guys can, why don't everybody go ahead and roll me perception checks.
Oh, perception. Okay. Let's see where this goes.
What do we got? Avok, what'd you get?
14.
All right. Elaine?
14.
Okay, 14. Fade?
26.
26, gotcha. And Song?
10.
All right, not bad. Avok and Song and Elaine, you guys are mesmerized by this massive, massive dragon that looks pissed. Fade, especially with your knowledge of arcane things in general, you notice a little bit more than just the dragon in front of you. As you kind of look around, and the whole room is lit up by this plume of fire that this dragon breathes. You kind of look around and you notice that the dragon itself has devices and pieces of metal and things like that stuck into its skin and going beneath its scales and things like that. And as especially with a 26, as you look closely, you realize that the dragon itself, other than the little bit of movement it has, you assume from things coming down and damaging the devices that are implanted in it, is relatively trapped, or at least was until fairly recently. Now, with the fact that you guys were able to, all the stuff falling, you're seeing some of the machinery and things like that around him has started to break, and you can see he's starting to be able to wrest himself free of what looks like a relatively painful prison. Did your detect magic is faded by now, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can see that these devices that are all kind of stuck into him and going under his scales and into him, you can see dried blood around them. You can see on the floor around him, you can see pools of what looks like very dark, very old blood there.
Could I go ahead? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Could I pop? Can I determine? Because I've been picking up pieces of Corin's devices that we found.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just make a leap here and just say that these are some of his devices?
They're not. They're actually very similar to the devices that you saw in Corin's kind of throne room that you guys fought him in, that are definitely not Eladrin made. You don't know what they are, but they do match whatever devices were in his keep.
Okay.
So, as you're kind of examining that, this massive dragon is just crying out and letting forth these plumes of flame due to the various devices that have kind of trapped him for however long he's been down here. None of the flame has hit you guys specifically. But now you're seeing him start, instead of just bellowing in rage, he's starting to form words. And a few of the words as you guys pick up on, he starts becoming more and more coherent. Do any of you speak Draconic?
Negative.
He's forming words that you've got no idea what they mean, but you hear this.
Common, please?
Nice beastie.
And as you guys speak to him a little bit, you notice that almost instantly he starts speaking in the common tongue. He goes, "You foul, disgusting creatures, you who have trapped me here for untold centuries, who have drained my life, now you have the audacity to face me yourselves. I will destroy you all." And then another plume of fire shoots out. You can see his wings are starting. They were pressed against his body by some sort of webbing, and he's starting to break out of it. You guys can see he's resting his long neck as much as he can, and you can see these golden whiskers that all were kind of tied to these different devices. He's breaking out of it, and he's getting to the point where his head is going in your general direction.
Please be careful. You're going to hurt yourself. What do you mean that we didn't do this to you? I've been experimented on too.
And as you say that, his head whips around. All the devices that have been holding him still crack and break, and he shakes his large head and points it directly at you, and he goes, "You, It was your kind who trapped me here centuries ago. Do not speak to me about torture!
Okay. Excuse me, Big.
Vroom. Massive head turns and looks directly at you.
Um, God, you're big. Okay. Well, I've never felt like this before. Just bear in
That's how I
mind.
feel.
Um, let me try to put some sense into this. Clearly, I just met her not too long ago, but when I met her, she is telling the truth. She was being tortured. And, I'm human, so I don't live that long, so I'm not responsible for whatever happened to you. So,
As you're talking, he raises his head again. Plumes of incredible fire shoot out from his nostrils and from his mouth as he lets out this bestial roar. Rah! And he turns back to you. You, one of the weak peasant races, is speaking to me, a
Whoa.
dragon, lord of this land, telling me not to exact the vengeance I have waited centuries for. What gives you the right to address me?
okay, first thing, I love the roar. Definitely outdoes mine. Second,
And you, and he turns and he focuses his eyes on Fade.
oh crap.
You are the one who has been torturing me recently. You are with that loathsome, disgusting excuse for anything, Corin.
I like where you think.
Can I take a quick look around and see if I can find his head in all the debris?
Yeah, his head is looking directly at you, Fade.
No, Corin's head.
Oh, Corin's head?
Because Avok did chop it off.
Yeah, you did?
Make me a perception check.
Ha!
I didn't hold on to the head?
13 plus 7,
Well,
20.
you were falling through the air, so...
Point taken.
Yeah.
Fade, you notice probably about, I don't know, 10 feet away from where Avok's standing, head mostly crushed in from the massive impact.
Sure. Okay. I nonchalantly, without turning my back, sidestep over to it, slowly kneel down and grab. This is Corin. We defeated him because we're trying to free everyone from his torture.
Yeah, I chopped his head off.
He
And
did.
it felt
He did
great.
chop his head off. That
I
happened.
helped.
Can we help you?
Make a persuasion check, Fade.
Oh, that's bad. 3.
You lie!
No,
You
sirs.
have usurped him, and now you wish to continue his diabolical plans.
Okay, listen.
Allow it.
Please.
Maybe you shouldn't talk.
No, it's fine. My kind supposedly did this to him. I will free him. I take responsibility for what they did. So if you wish to have vengeance, it's fine. Have it on me, but I will at least allow you to be able to live freely after this. Let me let you go.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Come on, high charisma.
Not bad. So he sits there, and you can see the bestial rage that he's kind of been operating under since you guys dropped down there is starting to fade. And even though none of you, dragons in general, are legends, no one has seen a dragon for most of your lives. But in the legends, they're incredibly intelligent beings. And you're now starting to see some of that intelligence return very slowly to this massive creature. And so he sits there and he goes, "Truly, you would free me from these devices without any pretense, without any negotiations."
No, if what you speak is true and my kind put you there, I feel that it is within my duty to be able to give you your life back and atone for their mistake.
I can help.
We'd all be more than happy. And I ask for nothing in return. If you wish to take my life after that, I understand.
You see his features soften slightly. He raises his head a little bit higher, kind of shakes it for a little bit, and he says, "Never in my years did I think I would ever hear a tiefling offer their life to save mine. This world has changed, apparently."
Depends on what's changed since you were around.
Tiefling? My lord?
Little one, do you not know who you are, the bloodline that you carry?
No, my lord.
That bloodline thing just keeps popping up.
I've only heard it in passing, and I was told I would never know.
Something strange has happened. Please, tell me, what is the state of the world? What is the state of my kingdom?
I'm sorry, your kingdom? How long have you been down here?
The years have not been kind, and they've more often than not blended together from one agonizing day to the next, but 700 years, roughly.
Fade, have you lived that long?
Can I just do a history check to see how long the Platinum City's been in
Sure.
power?
Go ahead and
Nice.
make a history check.
12.
You skipped history lesson that day.
History in general, like ancient history in general, has been kind of limited to the entirety of the population. They, the Eladrin in general, have tried to make it very difficult for people to know what happened. You do know that being an Eladrin and being a cleric, you learned a little bit more than most. You do know that as far as history is concerned, from what you were taught when you were young, the Eladrin took over and conquered the known world, the Kael Isles, roughly about maybe 450 years ago.
Your kingdom, is it the Kael Isles?
I do not know this name.
That is where we come from, and to the best of my knowledge, we have been, no disrespect, the dominant force for at least 400 or 500 years, sir.
Yeah, his race has pretty much been in charge for a long while.
My lord, does that mean that they've been torturing you for 700 years?
I wish not to speak of my torture. The
Yeah, it's now the orchard day.
the most recent form of torture from the one known as Corin has only been going on for maybe 30, 40 years. He discovered my resting place quite by accident, and when he saw what the tieflings had done to me, instead of freeing me as he should have, he decided to tap me for all of the vast arcane power I contain.
I knew that guy was a bitch.
Sounds like him. Monster.
I look at Song and I drop my weapon and say, "Can we help for you now?"
Yes. I apologize. Questions can come later. Let's get him out of this.
As much as I've been surrounded by these devices for centuries, I know not how they work. I simply know that they are painful and they stop me from breaking them. It will be up to you to figure out how to deactivate or destroy them.
Simple enough, I'll just take a swing at them.
Wait. We do not know if it will cause him any pain if we do attempt to try and destroy anything. We have to be very careful.
My pain has lasted for 700 years. There is no possible way you can increase it.
But it is possible that we could kill you. And my lord, with all due respect, I would wish to avoid that.
Fine. Do your investigation, but I wish not to remain here much longer.
You will not. I assure you, one way or another, you will be free.
Yeah, trust me, it'd be best if we all were out of here.
Correct. All right. Everyone, please try and search and see if there's a way that we can quickly and painlessly as possible get rid of these.
I would like to cast a detect magic spell.
Go for it.
Now I'll go look up close and see what I can discern.
Yep, I'll take one side.
Um,
Elaine, you want to grab another?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Song, as you look at these devices, you notice that the metal that they are created from is one that you've never seen before. It's very unique. It has kind of a purplish tinge to it, but it exudes magical energy. And as you look closer, for some inexplicable reason that you can't explain, something about these devices feels so familiar, it feels wrong that you don't know why. But something about them just seems to hit something in your past. Fade, as your magical sight starts to expand out, you can see rivers of power flowing through this metal. You recognize the metal immediately. It's an incredibly rare and is generally only used in very specific instances, but it's electrum. And it's known for its magical properties. It's used for its magical properties. And you're familiar with it because it's also one of the ranks that Eladrin carry. Very special Eladrin will be Electrum ranked. So as you can see that however these devices work, which is very, very, very much non-Eladrin, you've never seen a device that could actually extract and pull arcane energy out of a creature, but that's exactly what these things are doing. And you can see there are kind of like spears that some of the golden scales of this creature have been pried up, and these long spears have basically gone into its flesh, and because of your detect magic sight, you can see that they actually go probably about 6 or 7 feet into this massive creature, well below its skin, into its internal organs. And having never seen a dragon before and having nothing really to reference, you don't really know what internal organs it's going through. But whatever it is, you can see kind of well springs of magic throughout this creature. It has incredible arcane abilities. This would not be someone that you would ever want to fight in a purely arcane battle. They would dwarf the most powerful Eladrin wizard you've ever seen. But you can see from these arcane kind of reservoirs in the creature itself, these rivers of energy are just kind of flowing out, and they go into the castle itself. And from what you saw before, you're relatively certain that these This power is what has powered this castle. Everything from all the way back to the manor that you guys first entered, where you fought the Animate Arbor, all the way through this entire keep. All of the magical devices and things like that were run off this. The giant area where you made your zombie from, all of the devices, even the Eladrid devices that were run in there, were all powered from this specific structure that they have going throughout this castle.
Wow. The power that's flowing from these barbs, I guess I'll call them the spears, is it focusing at any one point? I know in the castle walls I saw it like vein out. Mm-hmm. Is there a place that they're going to, or
you do notice there are certain almost like manacles in various places across the dragon where the power is a lot of the arcane energy is just being going up and out into the castle, but there are certain mm-hmm. places where the energy part of it gets reinforced back to these manacles that, having seen similar spells, things like Hold Person and things like that, you get the idea that these manacles are what are trapping him here. And looking at the remains of the device that was holding his head in place, you get the idea that the debris falling from above damaged the device itself, and that's why his head is no longer held in place. The rest of him is still trapped by these very, very strong magical devices.
Okay, can I point everybody to the nearest one and say, I believe this is what we need to disarm or disable? Obviously, we don't want to hurt him further, but I feel like this is going to be difficult. There's a lot of power running through this.
So Avok Alang Song, he points to what looks like kind of like a massive collar on the right claw of right front claw of this very large creature. And as you get closer, you can see arcane energy kind of sparks all around it. It has these little barbs that come off with balls at the end that the energy keeps traveling around and through. The closer you guys get, you actually feel almost like waves of heat from like a very hot oven. These waves of arcane energy coming off of this device. And as you guys look around, you can see quite a few others of these devices all around this creature, one on each one of its legs. You can see there are 2 on each one of its wings that are pinning it to its body. There's 3 on the tail.
Okay, so let's get these things off.
Can we investigate the one on his right claw for like
Sure.
a weak point or something like that?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
8 plus 2, 10.
You don't really see a weak point. With your magic, with your detect magic, you can see where the energy is flowing into it.
Okay, I want to take out my light hammer,
mm-hmm.
and maybe. Elaine, do you have any more spikes? Or crossbow bolts or something like that?
I got plenty of crossbow bolts.
Toss one over here. Actually, no, I go up and put my hand up. I'm not a door.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna hand him a crossbow bolt.
Alright,
Okay.
I've got 4 javelins.
we'll try this, but I like where your head's at. Hey, Ava, take my mace. I put my hand with the crossbow bolt where I think it should go. Hit it.
No problem.
So as you both get close enough, I'm assuming you put it right next to the device, right?
I want to put the point of that bolt on where I think it should be.
Okay.
So I'm touching it.
Avok and Fade, give me Constitution saving throws.
Oh my.
It's a good thing I've been on con. That's a 18.
Okay.
18 here as well.
All right. So both you guys, as you get close, you almost feel like your skin is burning. Again, very similar to like if you got too close to a very hot oven, where it's just these waves of arcane energy are starting to hurt and cause actual pain. You take 1 point of what kind of damage do we call it?
Probably
Let's-
fire.
Let's call it fire damage. It's magical fire.
Why not?
As you guys get close, Avok, make me an attack roll.
Gotcha. Oh, what's the attack bonus on your what am I using?
Just use your strength,
Gotcha.
just like a regular old strength-based attack roll.
Okay, that's gonna be a 15.
15. So as he sits there and he slams the bolt itself into it, the bolt itself shatters. But the hammer, because of how strong he hit, the hammer keeps going, and as the hammer hits it, is this your
My actual weapon, my mace.
not your
I
right
was,
weapon?
yeah, no, I was going to use my light hammer, but after I thought about it, I took the bolt and gave
So
you my
as
mace.
as the mace hits there, it hits and the mace actually chips a little bit. Not enough that it would have any issues still doing massive damage to people, but it hit and didn't do anything to this device.
Alright. This isn't gonna work. I throw the mace back to Fade, take out my lovely great axe, and I'm gonna chop it like a log.
I step back as I see what he's doing.
Okay.
Fade, you want to hand me your mace?
I think about it, but I look at her and cast Mending on it as she asks for it.
All right,
I'm
Avon, make
good.
me an attack roll.
Got it.
Gotcha. This one I'm gonna work with. Do. That's a 24 to hit.
You slam into it, and as you bring this axe down, Fade, with your magic sight, the axe is magical.
Sure.
And as you see it come down, you see this kind of wave of energy that's coming off of it get cut in half as the axe arcs down and slams into the device itself. And as it hits it, you guys see this blinding flash of light.
Oof.
Avok, I need a Constitution save again.
Okay. That's a 24. I have a good con.
It'll be fun.
You take 2 points of fire damage.
Ooh.
As this thing explodes, and you can see the waves of energy that were flowing to it now have nowhere to go. The device itself has been cracked and destroyed. You can see the dragon itself lifts this massive claw and shakes it a little bit, and the destroyed contraption hits the ground next to it.
Alright. Well,
Good
I
job, you two.
yeah, I think we know who really figured this one out. Anyways, let's
What
move
are
on.
you gonna do without your strength?
Mhm.
On to the next.
Yep. Going to the left front claw. Mm.
All right. Due to the fact that this will kind of be the same thing over and over and over again, I'm just going to have you roll me 3 Constitution saves, Avok.
Gotcha. Yep. That's a 23
Okay.
for the first. That is a 13 for the second.
Okay.
And that's a 9 for the third.
All right. So 1 plus 4. You take a grand total of 6 more fire damage as you sit there, and you're able to free his claws. The wings are in an awkward place, so you're not able to get those yet, because you'd have to climb on the creature itself. And the tail section, you're able to do that. You can see the dragon is starting to stretch a little bit, starting to move, but without the use of its wings, it's still relatively limited, and it can't lift its actual chest off the floor as long as its wings are pinned.
Hmm.
While he's doing that, I'll be wandering around just checking for like any injuries or wounds that I can kind of deal with.
You do see there are these like spear-like things all over his body that are kind of protruding, and even though you guys are breaking the things that are kind of limiting him there, these spears, every time he moves, they open the wounds that they inflicted open more, and he started bleeding a little bit. Obviously, he's not going to be able to go anywhere as long as these things are stuck into him.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, those wounds are gonna be tough. Let's see. Hey, Fade, that spiritual weapon thing you do, you think you can use that on his wings?
You got it, buddy. Use my cast a spiritual weapon, which should appear next to the thing.
Yeah.
That would like to make a swing at it, if that's all right.
Go for it. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
7 plus 6, 13.
It's big. It's not very difficult to hit.
Kaboom.
Does your spiritual weapon have hit points?
It doesn't say in the thing, but it is like it's a thing. It has some kind of form if it can hit.
Yeah. I was just more wondering, because I know at one point, and I think this might have been in the playtest, spiritual weapon could be attacked and destroyed just like another creature. I don't think that is true anymore. So, yeah, you're able to break the other things. He's still kind of pinned to the ground by these large, things that are protruding into his body.
Sure.
But he's no longer disabled by these things. And you hear him go, "Quickly, remove these devices from me."
Working on it.
I'll lose my voice by the end of the night.
Good. I mean, no. Bad.
Okay.
Baby die. As Avoc's going around, I just want to try to cast a heal on one of the ones we already did and see if it helps him at all.
It does. He is a massive beast.
Right. I just want him to know we're on it. We're helping him out.
It helps a little bit. It's not insanely effective.
Okay.
Just because, again, like you're trying to heal just this immense creature.
I gotcha.
So
I want him to have warm fuzzies. That's all.
Okay.
He's been through a lot.
I hate to say it, but getting these spears out is gonna hurt him, but it's probably the only. Gonna have to pull him out.
You heard the Lord. He's taken some pain for 700 years. I think we got this. Let's do what we need to do and get it over with. You ready, my lord?
If I die today, I will die free.
Well, let's try not to have that happen.
I got cure wounds ready. Fade, you want to cover me too?
Yeah.
I got nothing left. I'm gonna go help Avon.
Okay.
All right, Song. I'm pulling this out, and you're gonna have to heal. That's
You got it.
All right, I'm pulling.
Okay. And I'm casting.
Make a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage, Avok.
Okay. This is gonna blow. 13?
All right. As you grip this spear type thing, as soon as your hands touch it, they erupt in pain, like you've just plunged your hands into molten lava. As you sit there and try and get a grip on it, you cannot keep your hands around it long enough to do anything. And as you pull them back, you take 4 points of fire damage as your hands are literally one layer of skin on your palms has just been burnt off.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Okay, that's not good. Wait.
New plan.
Hang on. What? You
Mage
first.
hand.
Use the other hand?
Can only lift, what is it? I think it's like 5 or 10 pounds.
10 pounds, yeah.
Yeah. It would not be able to lift something this massive.
How many spears did you have, Avok? Or javelins?
4.
could we each take one and put the points like towards the top or middle and all try to like push up together to pry it out so that we're not actually in contact with it? Or toss me a spear.
Here you go.
I real nimbly try to touch the tip to the thing and see what happens.
The tip starts to get hot. It's not to the point where it's pliable, but you think with too much sustained contact, you will probably damage the javelin eventually.
Do you care about these javelins?
Not in the slightest.
All right, let's try to pincer this thing and push up at the same time. We gotta be fast about it, though.
Okay.
You guys need any help or anything? Should I just give you guys some inspiration?
You know what? We could use any kind of help we
All
can.
hands on deck. Let's
You
use it
got it.
all.
Oh, I got dose. Exactly 2 left. Oh, man. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. So, two bardic inspirations for the 2 of them.
So,
and unfortunately, I don't have anything fancy enough to sing, so.
So Song comes over and places a hand on both of you guys and kind of gives you one of her winks and goes, "You can do this." And you guys feel just that little bit of
Dirty.
arcane.
Oh yeah, dirty.
Yeah.
Percent.
You guys feel that arcane boost in certain portions of your anatomy. I'll let you choose where. Go ahead and make athletics checks, the both of you.
Gotcha. I love my athletics. I really love my athletics.
Yeah, baby!
25.
25, okay. Fade? Did we lose him? Did he freeze on that face?
Yes! I can't believe he didn't get a photo of that!
That is amazing. Can you hear us, Mike?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, now you're back.
Yay!
We see, your face was just frozen.
That's about right. That's about right.
All right, what did you get for your athletics?
I got an unnatural 20.
Okay, so you guys sit there and you kind of brace it and you find like a divot or something in it and you push against each other and you push against the thing and you feel you feel the thing start to move out and you hear this kind of sucking sound as it's pulling against blood and organs and things like that you're kind of ripping out as you do it. You feel the dragon itself shift underneath you guys and kind of howl out in pain as you guys do this. But working together, you guys are able to slowly but surely over the next 10 minutes pull out that one.
Mm-hmm.
And rest it on the ground. After it's taken completely out, there's no longer any magical energy flowing through it, but you can see the end that you just pulled out of it. And that raises, for you specifically, Fade, it raises more questions than answers. Because as you look at it, again, technology that you've never seen before, specifically designed, especially since your Dispel Magic would be fading right as you pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
Looking it over, you can see it's specifically designed to extract arcane energy from inside a creature. And you can see there's all these little things on it that actually, through something that you've never seen before, is actually draining arcane power. And now that there's nothing to drain it from, they slowly kind of shut off.
I put it down gently. I want to try to play with it later.
Okay. The whole spear thing is taller than you are.
That's fine.
Okay. So that's one.
Are there
Many more.
Oh, okay. How are the spears looking? Do we need to throw some mending on the spears? Keep them alive?
You can probably get through 2 or 3 more without them having too much damage. But they'll, since you guys have mending, it's not really that big a deal. You just, as soon as they get to the point where you're like, well, this is fucked, you just mend them and you go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a weird question.
Sure.
So you said these spears are like barbed?
What?
The spears are like barbed?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Continue. Let's go do another one, Avok. That was fun.
You do notice that the wound that you guys pulled it out is now bleeding relatively heavily.
I got it.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here.
God, clean up after us.
I am! There, 7 heal for cure wounds. Not
Right,
much,
so
but
you come over and you kind of press yourself against the wound, and the wound itself starts to very slowly close, but it's such a gaping wound. The only thing you're really able to do is kind of staunch the bleeding a little bit, but this is something that's going to need to be healed. The dragon itself goes, "Do not worry about my wounds. They will heal."
my lord, shut up. Let me do what I do.
Don't anger him, please.
Don't anger me. I'm the one curing him. I gotta do something. It's my people's fault that this is happening.
You hear this snort, and then you hear a sound that sounds very, very alien, and it starts as this low rumble, and eventually gets louder to the point where you guys realize he's laughing. He's like, "I have never, in my years, met one quite as unique as you."
I'll take that as a compliment, considering I'm saving you too.
My enemies from the Dragon Wars, to insult a dragon so brashly and without thought, this amuses me.
Don't laugh too hard, otherwise you're going to start open your wounds again, okay?
All right. So, in total, there's about 13 of these things. You've taken one out.
Jesus!
This
Okay.
is an ancient dragon, guys.
Fair enough.
Take a lot to keep him tied up.
Yeah, it would.
We're going to need some energy. And for that, we're going to need some time.
Let's get out as many as we can until we're ready to fall over from exhaustion.
My fear is, though, is that we won't be able to take care of his wounds with enough time.
Okay. As you say that, I'll walk back over, and I'd like to try and do some kind of spare the dying action,
Okay.
and possibly mending to just swirl them together and see if I can get something working.
Make a spell attack roll with disadvantage.
Okay. 21 and 11.
Ugh.
Okay. So as you sit there and you try and find ways to basically make the blood clot, doesn't quite work the way that you want it to. Mending really doesn't work on biological things, and spare the dying wasn't quite working that way. It's a good try, just bad dice.
Fire is always the answer.
So what do you guys want?
Cauterize.
You can cauterize the runes too. He has fire at his command. Like, he's a gold dragon.
Can we use the pointed ends of the spears? Or the javelins? Heat them
No,
up?
we need them. Let's do that later. So don't worry about it. You deal with this. Me and Ava are going to go
But
pull
hang
up some
on,
more.
I don't have that many spell slots left. I've only got one. Let's use one of the items that came with us. Maybe there might be a pipe or something metal.
Oh, there's lots of metal scraps. There's lots of electrum scraps too. Like, you guys have beaten the shit out of this area. There's lots of broken shit all around you.
Let's search the debris and see if we can find anything.
What are you looking for?
Anything that would have metal at the tip, but probably like wood or something that wouldn't be affected too much by heat at the bottom. Like a pole or a shovel?
Make a perception check.
Good God. Anyone want to assist me on this?
I'll look at it.
Elena will assist you. Go ahead and make it with
Thank you,
advantage.
sweet baby. All right, so perception, right?
Yep.
Oh, God. 24! Baby, that's a 20!
Not bad. So you look around, you find something. It's just regular old like iron, but it's got some cloth and things wrapped around it that you think would insulate it somewhat from the heat. It ain't gonna be great, but it'll work.
Okay. Alright. Malord, can I borrow your fire for a minute?
I'm
I step way back.
going to regret this. Come
Yeah.
forward, little one.
You got it. Here we go.
And this plume of fire comes out, incredibly concentrated. Hits basically just the tip of this thing, and as you bring it away, it is red hot.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, using this technique, you guys, to kind of speed things up, you guys are able to pull the rest of these things out and cauterize their wounds. After the last one is out, the dragon starts to lift himself up. You can see he spreads his wings and he lets out this bestial roar and then collapses. And he kind of looks at you and he's like, well, maybe I should rest before doing that again.
It was a hell of a roar, though.
Yes, I envy your roar.
I would like perception checks from everybody.
You got it.
Got it.
18!
All right, I'll start with Avok. What was it?
21.
Elaine?
Perception?
Perception, yep.
Yep.
10.
10. Fade?
The number one.
Excellent.
Love
Song.
this number.
18.
All right. Avok and Song. Elaine and Fade, as you guys are there, you're just kind of marveling in the fact that you just saved a creature of legend.
And it roared.
Yeah. He's really, really cool.
NBD.
So you guys are kind of reveling in that. Song and Avok, you guys, while still very, very impressed with the fact that, you know, a dragon is in front of you and hasn't killed you yet, you guys also hear something from behind you.
Uh-oh.
And as you turn around, you see in the room opposite, through that large archway, you can see the creatures that used to be contained in those cells. The cells no longer have any power. So the thousands of creatures in there are starting to wake up, and they're starting to bang against their cells. Some of them are starting to open their cells, and they look very, very dangerous. They're not the Revenant that you guys dealt with before, where they were, you know, still somewhat human. These are just complete bestial, undead creatures. And they look horrible. And you can see some of them are starting to get out of their captivity, and some of them are starting to come in your direction. The dragon in front of you goes, "This is not good."
You wouldn't happen to have another fiery breath, would you?
No, he needs to save his energy.
I need aid. There is a technique my people developed. In times of need, we can imbue our power into a creature. I need one of you to volunteer to become my champion. For the rest of your life, you will be bound to my will.
I'll do it. It's
can't-
my fault.
I cannot trust a tiefling. But you, and he looks over to Elaine, you who's spoken so little, you have seen hardship in your life. You have felt the pain of torture of loneliness like I have, you could be my champion.
Elaine?
And he just looks at Elaine.
Oh, man. Didn't sign up for any of this.
You couldn't have picked a better champion, my lord.
It is your decision, but you must make it quickly. The ritual to imbue you with my power is taxing and takes time. What is your answer?
If it'll get us out of this, I'll do it.
What is your name, champion?
Elaine.
Elaine, you will now become Elaine the Gold, champion of Athwinel. Come forward.
I'll walk forward.
As you walk forward, he stands to his full height, and it's something amazing to see. And he starts to breathe deeply, and then he kind of turns to the rest of you. While this is happening, I will be unable to aid any of you. I need you to keep these creatures at bay. If this goes poorly, we shall both lose our lives.
Don't do that. I got you. I go stand in the doorway with like a pimp walk.
Leave it to us.
I got this.
So
We got your back, Elaine.
the creature spreads its wings out wide and breathes this plume of flame at Elaine. And as it gets to Elaine, instead of just completely obliterating him, it stops short and starts to form into kind of a flame cocoon around him. And as that happens, you guys hear from the doorway these loud sounds of these cries and screams of anger as waves of these creatures start heading towards you. And I would like everyone to roll for initiative while I very quickly go use the little boys' room.
Okay.
Well, what's this initiative looking like, team?
Pretty good for me, actually. That's a 20.
No!
I mean, I'm kind of...
You're kind of like a boss.
You're boss. Don't even.
I'll go ahead and say
Elaine's like,
2
I
weeks.
got this shit.
2 weeks. I had to know about this.
So wait a minute, we leveled up, didn't we?
Yeah, 6.
Do we change anything yet?
Your maximum HP goes up. But
Well, no, aside from that, like, do we get all our spell slots and stuff back? Or is that not until we take a rest? Okay.
Yep.
Take a rest.
Oh, buddy!
That would be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna be in some trouble.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do have a turn undead ready.
That's good. I'm just curious, like, how big is the doorway and what is it made of? If we can collapse that some way, that would help.
Dig it. I like it. He said it was big. He said it was pretty huge. Because we could see into that other room and see those.
Yeah, I don't feel like fighting. Yeah, I don't feel like fighting an undead terracotta army.
Yeah.
I will after this.
Yeah! Like a boss!
It's funny though, because I only have 5 HP.
All right, so you guys
Did I
ready?
need to roll initiative?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Avok, what you got?
23.
Elaine,
25.
Fade,
19.
Song. What was it?
5.
5. Awesome. So Song will be going first.
We're doing a reverse initiative today?
Not dream! It's opposite day, shut up.
So, you guys get ready. This is going to be a very different type of encounter. The creatures that are coming at you guys are emaciated, with these long claws and these long tongues coming out of mouths filled with teeth. They don't look like they're incredibly. They don't look like they have a ton of strength to them, but en masse they could be very, very difficult. So when it comes to your turn, as opposed to using your action, bonus action movement, and running this as a normal battle, I want you to describe how you are going to deal with as many as possible using whatever abilities you have available to you. Be as cinematic as you want. I will tell you what you need to roll, and depending on what you roll, you may kill 1, you may kill 7. It all depends on how you guys describe this. Elaine is going to have a slightly different experience, and since Elaine is up first, Elaine, as the fire engulfs you, at first all you see is flames everywhere, but you don't feel the heat. You can see just these swirling flames around you that look just amazing. One of the most beautiful sights you've ever seen. And as you as you're sitting there and these flames are surrounding you, excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice. As these flames are around you, you start to notice that the flames themselves start to take on slightly different variations, and they start to change a little bit, and they start to flatten out, and you realize you are now in the middle of a large open field. You can see around you are tall mountains that are spewing forth fire every so often. But the field that you're on is green grass. It's very pleasant, and you see a man in front of you. His features are perfect. Probably one of the most beautifully built people you've ever seen in your life. Features chiseled perfectly, and he's wearing this golden robe around him. And has a short beard and mustache that are white. And as he sits there and he kind of nods in greeting, he extends his hand, and you see in front of you the earth itself kind of splits, and you can see 3 separate paths that you can take to get to this person. One you can see involves has all these different pedestals and things like that, and branches and things, and there's trees and all that stuff, but there's no solid ground there, so it would be very much jumping from place to place. The center one just has loads of obstacles like boxes and walls and things like that. That you would have to find some way to break through. And the third one you can see is just covered in these plant vine things that you've never seen before, but they seem to be just shooting spikes and thorns in this area constantly, to where you would basically have to kind of endure your way through it. And the person at the end kind of looks to you and goes, "Choose your path."
Oh man. They all look equally terrible.
I believe in you.
I'll take the one with the no floor.
Okay. Make me an acrobatics check.
I'm good at that.
Yeah!
I'm good at that. Just don't roll. Okay. 12.
All right.
Not bad.
As you get up there, you get to the first platform, and you start jumping and hanging on to things. And as you go, you make it about halfway through the area in the amount of time that you have. Going back to the real world, Avok, you can see in front of you there are 6 creatures running towards you guys. Currently, there are more coming, but the closest group, there's about 6 of them.
Okay. Looking at the entryway, the big open doorway type thing, How big are we talking, and is it just made of, like, is it just a...
It's a massive archway. It's about 40 feet wide. You would guess maybe 80 to 100 feet tall.
That's gonna suck.
And it's carved directly out of the stone.
Ah, crap baskets. Okay, well... Okay, so much for trying to think this through. Fuck it. Come at me, bitches. I'm raging and I'm going right at them. I'm gonna chop them all up.
Okay. So, describe to me exactly what you're going to do. You've got 6 guys coming at you. Again, try and make this, a little more cinematic. You take it in one hand, you spin it. What do you want to do? Have fun.
I pretty much... Okay, how are they coming at me? Are they, like, in, like, a line or something, or are they, like, one by one?
They're in a rough kind of mob type group. They're coming in a bunch is the best way to describe it. There's a little bit of space between a few of them, but you've got like 3 grouped together, and then 2 over here, and then 1 on his own. But none of them are more than 5 feet away from the next person.
I'm gonna make this interesting.
Okay.
I'm gonna try a tornado type of technique and pretty much make myself like a bladed tornado, like coming at them.
Spin to win.
Roll me a... due to the fact that this is a little bit more than strength to keep your balance and things like that, roll me an acrobatics check.
Okay, what is that? Okay, this will be interesting. Okay, that's 16.
All right, so you guys see Avok run forward, and he grips his great axe in both hands, and as he gets close, you see him throw the great axe out and catch it as he throws it out, and uses the forward momentum to start spinning, and he whirls around, and as he does that, 3 of these creatures come by and get completely destroyed. 3 others avoid them completely and start heading for the rest of you guys. Fade.
I look at Avok, kind of shrug it off. Realize, like you said, we're reveling in the whole saving dragon. Mm-hmm. We just killed Corin. I look at my hand, like, oh look, this looks like a mini cannon, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And I just point it towards them and say some words and shoot them with a chill touch, which is a massive range. So okay. I don't want to shoot the ones around Avok. I want to shoot the ones past him.
Okay.
And I want to go use my other hand to do the second one because of my domain thing, double necro cantrips.
Okay. Roll me a spell attack.
9 plus 7, 16 to hit stuff.
All right, so you guys see Fade kind of form his hands into finger guns, or finger hand crossbows is what you guys would probably think of them as. And as he sits there, he points them forward, and you see them glow this dark indigo light, and he points them, and they shoot forward, going past the ones that were coming towards him, and going and colliding with 2 of the creatures further back. And as they hit, the creatures freeze and shatter as each one gets hit by it, and they just go down. There are now 3 more coming towards Song and Elaine now. Seeing as Fade didn't stop any of the ones that are close enough to do anything. So, Song, you've got 3 creatures coming at you.
Okay. So, Song, what she's going to end up doing is she's going to look at the other 2 who had just got done doing their attacks, and she's just merely going to smirk and shake her head, almost as if saying, "You guys are being such children. Let me show you how it's done."
Okay.
And she takes a very deep breath, and the highest possible note in her diaphragm she lets out with as much gusto as she can sum up, as high as she can go, and she ends up casting the spell Shatter around the area. And once as that's kind of simmering and done taking place, she then looks in the direction of the mass that's coming towards them, and there's a little section between the group that's forward and the ones that are coming. She creates a chasm using minor illusion, creating the image that there's a crack or break that's happened, and it causes a good, probably about 10, 20 feet of separation of just pure emptiness between the group that is attacking us and the group that's coming towards them.
Okay. Because Shatter and Minor Illusion both take actions, you wouldn't be able to do both of them at the same time.
You're right.
So
okay.
Choose one or
So
the other.
let's just stick with Shatter then.
Okay.
And we'll take care of the three coming towards us. So she's going to take care and make sure that Elaine doesn't get hit.
Okay.
So she's going to try and take care of the three.
You guys see Song with like fire in her eyes, and she sits there and takes a deep breath, and then she lets out this incredibly beautiful note at first. As she sustains it for longer and longer, the note becomes higher pitched and louder and louder. You can see the creatures themselves are running forward and immediately just stop to hold their hands. And you watch each one, you hear this plia, 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 as their heads just pop and they hit the ground. That brings us back to Elaine. Elaine, you again, you're about halfway through this path. You're holding on to a tree branch right now. What would you like to do?
Get all the way to the other side.
Okay, make me another acrobatics check.
Natural 20.
Yes!
So, after stumbling a little bit in your first time, you sit there and you're like, no, I got this. And you sit there and you kick off the tree branch, run across the wall a little bit, kick off of it, jump onto one of the platforms, do a roll off of that to the point where you're actually in midair, kick off of that and make it all the way to the other side, doing a perfect 3-point landing.
Parkour.
And as you look up, the old man in the golden robes kind of nods and smiles, and then he waves his hand, and the three pathways that were before you disappear. And in front of you, you see out of the ground, he kind of waves his hand over it, and from beneath the ground, this crack forms, and you see fire start shooting out in random intervals, and the fire itself starts to warp and meld, and it turns into what looks like your masterwork dagger, but the handle itself has elongated to the point where it's more closely identified with a spear. But you can definitely tell it looks just like your masterwork dagger with a super long handle. And he kind of gestures to it.
I'm going to walk up to it, and I'm going to take it.
All right. As you take it, you feel power start to course through you. And then we go to Avok.
Alright. Well,
Avok, now you can see after those were done, and your ears are still ringing a little bit from song, you see in front of you 9 more of these creatures start running towards you guys. Or not start running towards you guys, getting close enough that you have to actually deal with them. Or wait a minute, make that 7, because Fade took out 2 of them.
Yes!
alright.
It was 9. 2 of them turned into ice popsicles.
Attaboy!
What do you want to do, Avok?
Come to Papa. Alright, No, we're not gonna. I'm not friends yet. I don't have it in me.
Oh
Going
God, no.
from the entryway is on either side of the path that these things are running is a drop that's very, very, very long. That these walls are lined with these creatures, and they go beneath where you guys are as well as going up. So you technically are on like a bridge type thing. If that changes your technique at all.
Um. Trying to think here. So we're on like a sort of a bridge. All right. I'm gonna have to Spartan style this, although I don't have a shield, but it doesn't matter. I'm my own shield.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm 300ing this shit.
Okay.
Yeah, as they come at me, I'm just gonna pick them off one by one in the most gruesome way possible.
Okay. Make me go ahead and make me an athletics check.
Gotcha. All right, 21.
All right, so as you sit there and you sit there and like grinning with like pure rage around you, you see the creatures come up and you're just like, bring it on. You sit there, you swing your axe at the first one and slam into it, cutting it in two. You bring it back around without even flipping it around, hitting them with the back of this great axe, slamming it off the bridge. A third one, you come up and just kind of slam it with the front of your axe, pick it up, slam it into the ground as you hear this squishing sound, and three more of them are no longer living. The rest of them, four, if my math is correct, run past you as you're dealing with those three. Fade, what would you like to do?
How far away from Elaine are they? Or the flames that Elaine is in?
If they get past you guys, they will be able to interact with Elaine. So anything that gets past you guys is going to get to him.
Then I will grab or raise my shield, and there's a holy symbol on it, and I just kind of start chanting at it, and I channel my divinity to try and destroy the undead in the area, which would be those four things.
Interesting.
Or at least turn them. I'm trying to turn them, but if they're lobies, they blow up.
Yeah. Roll me a spell attack roll.
You got this.
15.
Ooh.
So as you sit there and you focus your arcane might into your shield, you see the creatures themselves start coming towards you, and then this indigo light burst forth from your shield. You see they keep running, but you start seeing pieces of their skin start to fall away. And as they run into it, they keep little pieces start falling off, and all four of them turn into dust.
Dig it.
Song, there is no one currently in front of you, but there's an entire just mass a little bit further away. What would you like to do?
Alright, can you do me a favor, Jody?
What?
Can you describe the entranceway for me one more time?
Sure. It's a large, it's about 40 feet wide. It's this very big kind of arc type thing that's been carved directly out of the stone itself. It goes up somewhere between about 80 to 100 feet. It's further than your dark vision reaches, so you can't really see the top. But kind of judging from it, you think 80 to 100 feet tall. Just this massive, massive archway.
Okay, and the archway...
Kind of like a doorway without a door.
Okay, so it stretches to be about like, around like 80 feet, if not more.
Yep, at least.
Okay. Can we see, I suppose with dark vision, can we see like the top of anything or like from the cave-in that we fell into?
Not really. You guys fell, just from your own knowledge, you guys fell probably close to, I don't know, 150, 200 feet. Like, you guys fell a long way.
Yeah.
You are super far below.
Okay, but there's no, like, you can't see, like, any roof or anything that would have been
Not where
area?
you are right now. You can see walls, obviously, and you can see, like I said, this giant pathway in front of you, this giant bridge of stone. But beyond that, nothing. It's
Okay.
such a massive cavern.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you for clarifying that. All right. Then what Song is going to do is she's going to go ahead and clap her hands together. And when that sound hits, she's going to create a very huge, monstrous boom that's going to echo and then push it in the direction of the archway as high up as she can.
Okay. What ability are you using to do that?
Thunderclap.
Thunderclap. I'm actually not familiar with that spell. You mean Thunder Wave?
Nope. This is actually a cantrip.
Oh. Can you? I don't have that in front of me. Can you read it to me? Because I'm actually not sure how it works.
No, it's fine. You create a burst of thunderous sound which can be heard 100 feet away. Each creature other than you within 5 feet of you must make a Constitution saving throw. On failed saves, that creature takes 1d6 worth of damage. So instead of it being in a concentrated area like around her, she's shoving it in the direction to try and cause a cave-in.
Interesting. Roll me a spell attack roll.
You got it. A d6. Lol. And it's with charisma and
proficiency. Yep.
And proficiency. Okay, so. Okay. 26, baby.
Damn. So
yes!
Using this spell in a very different way than it was intended is incredibly taxing on you. So you guys see Song kind of focus and concentrate, and as she claps, the clap is louder than anything you guys have ever heard beyond what she did last turn. And as she sits there, she claps, you can actually see the sound start to kind of form in her hands, and she reaches up and just extends her hand upward, and this kind of ball of compressed sound energy flows and shoots straight up and kind of disappears into the darkness. Because it's so far away, you really don't know what it did, but it went the direction that you intended.
I don't hear anything?
Not really, because of how loud it was. You're slightly deafened as it goes up. So
okay,
it
sounds
lasts
good.
for only a moment, but it's by the time it goes far enough away, it's pretty far.
Okay, and then during this time period, she's actually going to take a step back and get as close to Elaine as possible, but without interfering with the system.
Fire.
Yeah, you know, I'm just
Makes sense.
not a fan of it. You know.
All right, Elaine, as you stand in this field, the paths behind you gone, you can feel power coursing in you from your dagger spear thing, and the old man starts to speak. One who controls the power of dragons cannot use a mortal weapon. Though you will not be able to do it now, this will one day be your weapon. You must learn to use it. And as he waves his hand, you see creatures that you have never seen before, beings of pure fire with wings that look like kind of like bat wings, except just made entirely out of fire, start flying around, and the old man kind of gestures. He goes, "Quickly, defeat them, or they will defeat you."
Oh boy.
What would you like to do, Elaine?
Oh man, they're flying around me?
Yeah, they're about 30, 40 feet in the air right now.
Oh jeez, I'm throwing this at one of them.
Okay. Make an attack roll with dex attack roll with proficiency.
Yeah.
Proficiency and dexterity mod. Yes. Natural 20.
So as you sit there, you grip your dagger, basically, and you throw it with all of your might. As it arcs through the air, you, in the world that you are, you can actually see what looks like a magical tether from your hand going to this spear. And as you sit there, you actually can control it somewhat with your will. And you will it to go through 3 of these things all at once, just and after each one it pierces through, it bursts into a puff of smoke and vanishes. You take out all 3 of them, and then, almost without thinking, you sit there and just focus on the spear, and it disappears from the air and appears directly in your hand. And you can feel that power just coursing through your veins again. Avok! 12 more creatures are headed your way. What would you like to do?
12 creatures. Okay.
Don't forget to let us have some fun.
No, they'll probably pass me, but I'm gonna take out as many as I can. Pretty much like, oh, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna frenzy.
Go for it. You guys see he just gets even more. You can almost see the waves of rage just flowing off of Avok.
Yeah.
He lets out a blood-curdling scream.
That's just cheating.
Kind of like that.
Badass.
What would you like to do?
And with... Yeah,
Again,
I pretty much just...
you are not limited to 100% of how the rules are supposed to work. Come up with a cool idea. I'll have you roll for it. So however you want to do this, make it cool.
You got it.
Okay.
You got this.
Using my rage-filled strength, I'm gonna jump into the air and land on the biggest mass I can and pretty much just like... And as I come down, I again do a little tornado thing and pretty much just slice their asses with the shockwave.
Make me an athletics check.
Alrighty then. That is going to be a 24.
So you see him just scream in rage, and then you see him jump into the air really, really high. Like you haven't seen someone go this high before. And as he comes down, he brings his great axe down and slams into 6 of them, crushing 2 beneath his feet. Another 2 are destroyed by his actual axe cutting through them. And then as he hits the ground, this shockwave comes off that knocks an additional 2 off the side. I need a dexterity saving throw from you, Avok.
Fair enough. I knew that was going to be a tough one.
How do we beat that?
That is a 17.
All right. As you do that, you hear from above something very large coming down. And as you look up, you see 3 large boulders almost come crushing down. You jump back instinctively, and these 3 things go krung, krung, and take out another 4 of these creatures.
So there's 2 that pass me. Okay.
Is that me?
You get the idea that the things coming from above had nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Huh.
Damn it!
Okay, interesting.
Might have something to do with a very loud noise that got shot up the turn before.
Sorry!
Fade. What do you want to do? There's 2 left, and then shit tons more behind them.
All right, so these boulders fell in our general vicinity. I want to... I'm a Ladrin, but I'm actually a pretty strong Ladrin from my clerical training. I want to grab as many of these spears and barbed devices that are there on the ground, and I want to kind of use the boulders that are there and just grab one, slam it in the ground, grab one, slam it in the ground to try to make a funnel to keep these things coming towards us, almost like a wall. on one
Ooh.
side of a lane. Like I'll try to make a wall to the right of us so that they have to come towards us rather than go past
All
us.
right, make me an athletics check, but because this is kind of epic, you're going to do it with disadvantage.
You got this.
First one is really good. The first one is what's my strength? 3. First one's a unnatural 20. The second one, same thing. 217.
Yes!
Okay, so
Wow.
you sit there, and as you see these things, you kind of um, let go of your shield a little bit to where it's just kind of hanging off of your arm. Really not that useful to you right now. And you start moving rocks. And you sit there and you guys see him just like, and he moves one. And he sits there and he takes one of these barbed spears and crushes it into the ground. And he moves another one and takes another spear and crushes it in the ground. You're able, throughout your turn, you're able to probably close off about 15 feet of this 40-foot gap with these various things, making it basically almost impossible for these creatures unless they've got crazy ups.
Right on. Okay.
The two remaining creatures run past you as you're building this thing. Song, you got two creatures coming at you.
Good to know you boys saved me some. Bless you. And now there's something I want to try, Jody. Let me run it by you.
Mm-hmm.
Every culture, that I know of, tends to have their own types of lullabies, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Now, granted, these creatures have
I
kind
actually
of
studied that in high school.
yes. The more
Not
you
lullabies
know.
specifically, but music of the world.
Right. So, is it possible for Song to kind of use some type of magic to twist her voice where it can go in through one person's ear and they'll hear like a song from their past or something that they grew up with, and then same thing with like another person even though it's different, or is that too much?
Um,
Kind of like a manipulation type thing.
roll roll an insight check.
Okay. Despite the fact of her history?
This is going to be insight
Yeah.
because you're affecting someone else.
Okay.
However, it's really creative, so roll it with advantage.
22.
All right, so as you sit there kind of focusing on your arcane and musical knowledge, the spears that Fade has been kind of thrusting in the ground, as one of them goes into the ground, it kind of rings out like crystal would if you rub it or if you hit it. And as that happens, you are instantly kind of taken away from the world that you're at. And surrounding you are people that look just like you. They're very, very tall, to the point where you, like your head is at like their knee, thigh level. But they're very, very tall. Their tails are kind of whipping around. You can see them kind of talking to each other. You notice that you're in a room that looks very similar to some of the ones you saw in the keep. But as you look outside, you notice that the sky itself is this kind of dark red color. And you can see kind of plains of these red and purple trees as far as the eye can see. And as you're sitting there, you hear this song that, for whatever reason, feels incredibly familiar to you. And it just keeps repeating in your ears over and over as one of the creatures kind of picks you up and kind of holds you and takes you to another place in here. And as you're walking through and you walk through another door, you're instantly back where you are, but you know this song perfectly. And you start to sing it, and you infuse your magical abilities into it. And the two remaining creatures, as they're running towards you, start to kind of falter and step wildly, and then they just hit the ground completely unconscious.
Dig it.
Elaine, After doing that and willing this new weapon to your hand, the old man in the gold robes turns to you and goes, "Very good. You show a natural talent for controlling that weapon. Remember it. However, the powers of a dragon are not limited to a singular weapon. Look." And he presses his hand against your chest. And as he does that, you feel power. More power than you've ever felt in your entire life. And as it kind of courses through your veins, you feel something strange happening. You start feeling scales start to form armor around your body. And from your back, these leathery wings sprout forward. Your vision improves to where you can see literally for miles, just amazing vision. And the spear itself in your hand pulses with power. And you see the ground around you drop away, and you see these various arcane rings form in front of you in various places. And the old man goes, "Go. Try your newfound powers."
I'll go ahead and do that. I'll try and fly through the rings.
Make me an acrobatics check.
Okay.
I would make it with advantage.
Oh, okay.
That's very good.
I like that.
Oh, okay. Second one was a 1.
Wow, that's awesome. What was the first one?
He said acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
I can't do math because it was so bad. It was a 7. 7 plus 6 is 13, right?
Okay, yep. So it takes you a little bit, but you're able to kind of fly through them. And that this power is incredible. You notice that the spear itself in your hand is now glowing with golden fire. And Avok, you now see 15 more of these creatures start running towards you.
Oh boy. Okay. Since Fade kind of changed it up a bit, how are they running towards me? Is it single file or is it still
No, this
mobbed
is
up?
just a giant mob. There's 15 of them, so they don't even have space. Like, it's just a giant mob running towards you.
All right then. Okay. Put my axe in front of me like so, and charge right at them. I'm bull rushing.
Okay. Athletics check.
Gotcha. Come on, streak's been good. Don't screw me. Okay, 16.
As you sit there and you start running through them, you start, like, some of them will hit your barbarian skin and just kind of get knocked off. More are getting kind of impaled by the axe. But just the sheer force of it, you're only able to take about 4 out before they just kind of go past you because they're just so massive. Fade, there are now 11 heading towards you.
Okay. I want to position. Oh, okay. So I want to take one more spear or thing and place it on the other side, like I'm about to try to do what I just did. But I'm going to use it to kind of propel myself forward, and just with a wave of indigo energy, I want to throw another double chill touch at the nearest two.
Okay.
To the left side, because I feel good about my right side, so I want
to go
take
ahead and
out one of over here.
Make a spell attack.
18.
All right, and also make me an acrobatics check.
Acrobatics check. Not the worst thing, actually. 12.
So you guys see basically Fade like pole vaults using one of these barbs that was in your dragon friend. And he kind of pole vaults, and as he does, he starts to kind of rotate his body, and instead of the chill touch coming out as like a hand going forward, he spins, and two kind of waves of cold necrotic energy flow out from him. What was the attack roll again?
I don't remember.
I think it was an 18. That number sounds familiar.
Maybe 16.
16. 18,
I really
16.
don't remember.
It hits. So as you do that, these waves of cold go, and it hits 3 at first, and they crush and shatter into pieces. The second wave comes around, hits 3 more, waves shatters into pieces. And as you land, 5 of them kind of blow past you, but you still have kind of waves of cold kind of radiating from your hands.
Okay, then since I missed some, I want to just kind of misty step back as my bonus action to try to just make sure I'm between them and Elaine.
Okay, so as they run past you, you kind of turn, and you feel your connection to the arcane kind of jerk, and instantly you kind of step into another world that's very chaotic, and as you step out, you are now in front of these creatures running towards you. Song. There's 5 more running towards you.
Ew! Ew, my! That's a bit more than usual.
You can do it.
Are you boys losing your energy already?
Don't you even dare.
And she takes as big of a deep breath as she can, and focuses all her might on singing, but it's going to be actually towards the ground. And she's going to use the reverberation of the notes to cause a tremor in the earth around her.
Okay. Is that thaumaturgy that you're using, or?
Yep.
Okay. Roll me a spell attack roll.
Okay. Natural 20! Yes!
So as you see her kind of again get into her being and start to use her control over sound and magic together, you see her start speaking these words that you guys have never heard before. Song, you're a little bit surprised as you start speaking them as well, because you've never heard them before. But they come out so naturally, you have no idea how you haven't been speaking this your entire life. And as you sit there and you're saying these words, and it gets louder and louder, and you guys can see the ground around her starts to shake and starts to rumble, and you can see pieces of it start to crack and break around. The creatures themselves stop for a moment and actually sit there, and for you don't know how you know this, but for whatever reason you think they understand you. And as you sit there, you notice a couple of them take a few steps back, but then the ground beneath them starts to shake and rumble. And how many left? There was 4 of them, right? Yeah, 5. Sorry, math is hard. The 5 left start to shake and rumble and try to catch their footing, but they're unable to, and they plunge over the side and scream as they fall continuously. However, the 2 that you put to sleep, one of them, from all the jostling and stuff like that, kind of gets knocked around, slams his head against the ground, and you see a pool of blood forming beneath him. The other one, though, starts to stand up, jumps out of the way, and goes over and dives into the kind of cocoon of fire that contains Elaine. Elaine, I need a death saving throw from you.
What?
I need a death save from you.
I can't make any effort to try and get him.
You just killed 6 of them using a cantrip that doesn't do damage.
But I can't use any movement.
It
It's
moves
fine.
so quickly.
It's fine.
It wasn't
All
able to.
right.
I rolled a 16. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Elaine, as you're sitting there, you feel this piercing pain come through your very chest. And as you look down, you see like a claw or something kind of protruding from the front of your chest. And as you look, it burns away. But it hurts incredibly bad. One of the worst pains you've ever felt. As that's happening, the old man in the gold robes turns to you. He goes, "You are my champion. You and I will be connected until the day we die. You have a mighty amount of power at your disposal. But this power comes with a price. You will enact my will wherever I see fit. You are my champion and you are my servant. Do you understand?"
I do.
Then rise and embrace your power. And with that, the world envelops into flames again. And you can see the cocoon of fire that's been around you. You guys can see this stream of fire that's been surrounding him starts to flare and get brighter and brighter. And then it disappears. Standing where Elaine once stood is this creature that looks very different. You can see the leather armor that he was wearing before has taken on a gold color, looking to be made entirely of gold. You can see the shoulders now have wings on them. You can see the entire thing now has a face mask that covers his features in a golden hue. You can see he's holding both of his daggers, and they are alight with flame. As that happens, the dragon itself kind of comes to its senses, and you see it, and you hear it go, "Get out of the way!" As you all kind of take the hint and move, it goes down back on all fours and lets forth this blast of fire that incinerates almost the entirety of all of the creatures that were coming at you. As it goes down, you see even more of these creatures start falling from the rooftops and climbing up the side and coming forward. Just this torrent of creatures. And he turns to you and goes, "Climb on my back. We must leave here." What would you like to do?
Don't have to tell me twice. Ugh.
Gonna immediately get on him.
But okay.
All right. Anyone climbing up, give me acrobatics or athletics, whichever you would prefer.
Okay.
Athletics. I love my athletics.
All right. What do we got? A-back?
24 athletics.
You're great. Elaine?
I know.
What?
It's a 20-something.
You're fine. Fade?
I want to grab one of those power spears
Uh-huh.
and use that to climb up because I want to take one with.
Give yourself advantage.
Thank gosh. The second one was 18. The first one was a 6.
You climb up. Song.
17.
You climb up. As you guys get on there, you feel this torrent of wind as two giant golden wings beat against, and you guys are lifted into the air. And as he starts flying out, you guys see you eventually get to the room that you were in before where the beholder was hiding, and you crush through that, breaking pillars and things like that. And then he crushes through the roof of the entire building, and you guys are now close to about 150 feet in the air, and you can see this island itself surrounded by forest. You can see in the far distance where you guys landed, miles away. And the dragon himself slowly kind of flies down and lands in the kind of center town that you guys saw before. And as he lands, the jolt is enough for you guys to kind of understand you need to get off. And you guys kind of clamber to the ground, and then you watch his form glow bright gold, and his form begins to shrink and meld. And you see afterwards Elaine, a very familiar figure to you. You see a man in golden robes. The rest of you have just seen this massive creature turn into what looks like kind of humanoid, but with very elven features. Probably the most perfectly proportioned human you've ever seen in your life. Not with the pointy ears or anything like that, but he doesn't look human, he doesn't look elven. You're not quite sure what it is, but he looks good. And he kind of lands with you all and turns to you and goes, "Thank you. Thank you for freeing me. I never thought one of your kind," he looks over at Song, "I never thought one of your kind would do anything but attempt to enslave us. The Dragon Wars were a dark, dark time. But apparently the world has changed."
I don't know about that one, my lord. I can't remember anything.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope one day your memory returns, and on that day, that you retain the qualities you have now. However, I have been away from this world for far too long, and there's something, and he kind of looks around, there is something wrong with this world. I must discover what that is, and you cannot join me on this quest. However, Elaine the Golden, you are now my champion. We are connected. If you need guidance, you can speak to me. You will know how. And I will speak to you periodically to find out more of this strange new world. I wish you luck in your future endeavors, and I hope one day that we meet again on better terms. Goodbye. And with that, you see him kind of raise into the air using invisible wings, and he kind of flies off into the distance.
But
This is always like all my relationships. More questions than answers.
Avok snaps out of his frenzy.
Oh, God, that was just something.
Hey! Take
And
it easy.
Avok collapses onto the ground now.
So you guys are right outside the inn that you first explored looking for Korbeck.
we should go find Michael.
Yeah, but first...
Throw him over my shoulder.
Okay.
Would you guys like to take a rest or anything like that, or just directly to the graveyard?
I think we should take a rest in the graveyard, in the hideout, in Michael's hideout.
All right. So you guys travel the 15, 20 minutes it takes to get to the graveyard. As you get there, you are taken aback by what looks like an almost alien landscape. It looks nothing like the place that you saw before. The buildings, you can see some of them have massive holes in them. Others have been completely destroyed. You can see pieces of people all over this area. It's rare to find a complete corpse anywhere. Some of them have bite marks from a giant mouth. Other of them just have pieces of them that don't exist anymore. And other ones are just simply dead, ripped apart by something else. Some of them are crushed underneath. You assume they got trampled. Nothing in this area is alive that you can see.
I'd like to just look around and see if I can at least place the inn where we were first hiding out.
The inn back in the town, or the okay, yeah. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
14.
You've been there before, even with everything being broken. You can find your way. It takes you about 10, 15 minutes to get there. You walk past waves of destruction and gore, the likes of which you have never seen. Avok, you have been in the middle of bitter wars, and you have murdered and killed hundreds of people and have been on battlefields where massive battles have taken place. This is nothing like you have ever seen before.
That's because I'm not seeing it. I'm
Oh yeah,
asleep
you're
on
unconscious. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you get there, you do find the area where you guys kind of slept before. And as you sit there and you start to pull up the trapdoor that will lead you down there, you hear a sound from behind you. And as you quickly look around to see, you see a creature badly burned. Most of its hair is gone. The skin is warped and drained. And it slowly crawls over with half a body, its lower half missing, kind of grabbing onto your ankle. And as you look up, you kind of look into this face that is almost unrecognizable, and you see features that remind you of Michael. And as he sits there, kind of grabs your ankle, he kind of looks up, he's like, oh. Stop. You.
Michael?
You see him kind of blink, and he kind of looks over. He's like, hey. Hey, pretty lady.
Oh,
You see he's coughing up blood now.
sweetheart, don't move, okay? Don't move.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to be moving again
Shh.
for a long time. More blood comes up. You have no idea how he's survived as long as he has. You can see he's bleeding out profusely, barely clinging on to life.
Do I want to stabilize him?
It's up to you. Kind of looking at him, this isn't something you think beyond like a resurrection type spell.
Because he was a revenant, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or we thought so?
So he didn't really enjoy healing type spells in general.
Yeah, he did.
But you're relatively certain he's already dead. It's just taken longer for him, for whatever reason. You're having a really hard time even coming up with a way, because it's been, close to like 3 days since the attack from the Beholder did all this. So for 3 days, he's had half a body.
Oh yeah, we went to sleep a couple times.
Yeah.
Just put him out of his misery.
So as he's sitting there and he's just kind of lying there, and Song is kind of knelt down next to him.
Oh, she's got her head on. She's got his head on her lap.
So he's sitting there, and you can tell that he's coming to his last few breaths. He's like, I. When we died, we died. Free. And you can see him kind of smirk a little bit. And he brings up his charred, desecrated hand and kind of puts it on Song's and kind of looks at her, smiles, and then the light slowly fades from his eyes.
Before it does,
Mhm.
she at least is gonna tell him that Corbin is dead.
Well,
We got him.
at least he went before I did. And he's gone.
Damn it. Elaine?
Hmm.
Could you please find a shovel?
Yeah, I'll go look and see if I can find one.
Thank you.
Do I have a shovel? Does the burglar's pack come with one?
No.
Let's say you've got one. It would make sense for a
Okay.
burglar's pack to have one.
Kept meaning to write everything down and it came with that. Yeah.
How far down was that basement with that little ladder by the bar?
I believe it was like 30 or 40 feet. Like it was
Damn
It's
it.
pretty far down.
I'll drop Avok next to the hole.
Yeah, you really don't want to drop him that far.
No.
I want to, but I won't.
Hey, no, drop him down that hole. I fell down it, okay.
Ah!
So Elaine gets a shovel. You guys bury Michael.
So I've basically got golden leather armor on and the golden mask on, right?
Yeah,
I still have
It's
that
still-
on? Okay.
it's basically the same art. It's just a visual change. You'll notice that anytime you kind of equip any sort of armor, the power coursing through you will automatically give it a gold tinge.
And I have a mask?
The mask just was kind of just a badass thing that appeared out of nowhere. You have no idea where it came from.
It's like, okay.
You don't have to wear it. It's just there.
It's just cosmetic. Alright.
It's very draconic looking.
Cool.
So you guys are able to kind of go down there. When you get down there, you notice the place is relatively abandoned. You notice that there are holes in the ceiling where entire areas are just non-existent. Fade, since you've had personal experience ripping one of these off, you get the idea that a disintegration beam destroyed much of this. There are still pieces of corpses down here as well. It looks like some of the people tried to hide down here to no avail. So sleeping down here with dead things that are rotting for 3 days would be very difficult.
I take a note of what parts are where.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's fine. Well, if everyone will help me get Avok down there, then I'll start hauling stuff out.
Okay. Takes you a good 2 or 3 hours to be able to clean
That's
it out.
fine.
Again, there's holes in the roof, so it's not going to be quite as safe as it used to be. But there's still beds there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Song needs right now.
Okay. So you guys are able to get a long rest, and that is where we are going to end it for tonight. So For those of you watching at home, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. I got to conspire with one of the players to do something really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you wondering
Hang on.
exactly what in the hell just happened to Elaine, Elaine has now multi-classed into a custom class I created called the Dragon Knight. If you would like to play it yourself, you can go to the DM's Guild. It's listed as the Dragon Knight class. You can download it for free, or if you would like, you are more than welcome to toss a couple bucks my way as well. It's gone through a couple revisions, so it's kind of cool. And I within the next month or two here, I will actually be releasing a supplement to it to add a new draconic calling to it to add a little bit more variety. So it's a really cool class. Other than one person who didn't read the class and just gave it a bad score, it's got perfect 5-star scores, so everybody loves it. Beyond that, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for checking it out on YouTube. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. This has been one of my favorite sessions we've had thus far, and I think the players enjoyed it, or at least I hope they did. We play this game basically on the first and third Tuesdays of every month right here on twitch.tv/TrainerJody. So you're more than welcome to follow me here on Twitch. I also stream another game, the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, on the weeks I'm not doing this. So you're welcome to tune into that as well. Follow me on Twitter. I always tweet about all this stuff. I'm at TrainerJody there. Beyond that, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.
See ya.